Vice President, my brother, Mark Addo, Executive Committee members here in Guarded, my regional ministers from all the 10 regions of the Republic, my dear sisters and brothers from the Inky fraternity, our football clubs, club owners, across the length and breadth of our country, I say good afternoon one more time. So I'm extremely happy that we are here today to climax an important working visit by the President of the Confederation of African Football, who arrived here yesterday morning, and we've had an eventful and exciting 2 days talking football, talking business, and thinking about our collective interests, not only for today, but also for our tomorrow. Yesterday, our president arrived, and straight away he went into action. We paid a courtesy call on the Vice President of the Republic. Then after, he was involved in the Youth Summit. After that, we went to the presidency to meet His Excellency, the President of the Republic. Today, our morning started as early as 8 a.m. with a breakfast meeting that involved the Executive Committee, our regional ministers, the private sector, who have been very, very supportive of our Football Association, and those who intend to be supportive of the work we're doing here. It's interesting to say that the visit of our president of CAF marks our 2 years in administration here in Ghana. Today is the 21st. If you cast your minds back, on the 25th of October in 2019, we were voted into office to serve our people. So it is a blessing that on such an occasion, we have the President of the Confederation of African Football here with us. Can we give him a round of applause, please? Some months ago, he agreed to a clarion call by member associations across the African continent and beyond to serve football on the African continent. He joined the fray at a time that the image of our sport on the African continent had been battered. He joined at a time that the Confederation of African Football needed, somebody would say, medicine, because it was sick. He came at a time that the integrity of the sport on the African continent had been heavily challenged. And he came at a time that member associations were heavily divided amongst ourselves. Even though he was, and he is, a very, very busy man, he said yes to the clarion call to serve Africa, to serve football, and to serve the world. Because if you are the president of CAF, even though you represent Africa, you're also the vice president of FIFA, which represents the sport globally. So he's not here, or he doesn't exist to only serve African football. He serves world football. Somebody would have asked that why would a peaceful man in his little corner, concentrating on his business, bring himself into an industry that is full of ups and downs? I'm talking about football. An industry that people do not really appreciate the work that you put in. An industry that people will just insult you just at the mention of your name for no reason. For no reason. When you are called Amoakwata, immediately the insults will start to flow. Because you are ignorant, because they think that you don't know what you're doing, because they think you're wasting your time. But he decided to serve. Today he's here. And after going through all that we threw at him, he has again agreed to speak to the media. Because just like our dear Football Association, we appreciate the work the media does and is doing for our football. We appreciate you. And we know that without you, we would always live in the dark. We appreciate this. And that's the singular reason why he's agreed to speak to you before he departs our dear country. Mr. President, on behalf of the Ghana Football Association, I want to thank you so much for the time spent with us. I'll forever be grateful. Ghana will forever be grateful. And like I said much earlier, Ghana would always stand shoulder to shoulder with you and with your leadership and with your administration in good times and in bad times. Because we believe in your vision. We believe in your desire to ensure that all the good corporate governance principles are introduced, are established on the African continent and in our sport. We believe in your leadership style. We believe in your desire to see women's football grow. We believe in your desire to see school football grow. We believe in your desire to see juvenile football grow. And we believe in your desire to ensure that the corporate world, the private sector, becomes interested and an active participant of football on the African continent. Mr. President, on this note, I want to welcome you again to Ghana. To our media folks, I'm sure many of whom have never had a chance to speak with you directly. Is Gary here? Oh, okay, he's one of them. I know you utilize this opportunity very well. You will not be sitting here throughout the day, unfortunately. So when it is that you have the opportunity to speak, please do not hesitate. On that note, I thank you so much for the support of our FA. I thank you so much for the work we're doing. We would always want to do the very best for our sport. 2 years is already gone. We've done a lot for Ghana football. 2 years ahead of us offers all of us a lot more opportunities to do our best for Ghana football, and we will not renege on our commitment towards the sport. Our intention is to do our maximum for the sport, and I say this all the time, we all have one vision, colleagues. Where we differ is how to navigate the vision, or how to navigate our ideas to the vision that we all share. So the fact that you disagree with my style should not mean you are against me. Should not mean I'm against you. The fact that I disagree with your style should not mean I don't love you. We all have one vision: to grow Ghana football. Thank you so much for coming. And our MC, if you're alive and you're awake, I'll hand over the microphone to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. Just before I respond, I want to thank my brother Kurt and thank him for the wonderful leadership he's providing, his hard work, his commitment, his sacrifice, and also thank the Vice President, the EXCO members who are here, the regional presidents. I arrived yesterday morning from Los Angeles. We're trying to talk to some people on some of the issues that you are talking about globally, because we have to ensure that every single African who wants to watch his nation, his football club, African football, can do so. So this is an ongoing process. But before I go back to give a little bit more detail, also to thank the media and thank our beautiful Ghana football supporters. Thank you so much. I was saying earlier, in 2010, when you came to South Africa, Ghana was not just playing for the people of Ghana, they were playing for the people of Africa. And I was saying jokingly, they were saying at the end of when the World Cup ended in 2010 in South Africa, they said they were going to ask the Minister of Defense of South Africa not to allow Suarez to leave, to leave the country, because that was a clear goal. If there was VAR or VAR, the referee would have said no penalty, it's a goal. And we believe that God had planned something special for the people of Ghana and for the people of Africa. Ghana had one of the most uniquely talented teams at the time, and we were very ambitious and confident that Ghana was going to go all the way. But I also want to thank the media. I want to thank you. This country is blessed. I'm told you've got more than 100 TV stations, and you've got more than 200 or 400 radio stations. Yeah, I hope they are all sustainable. Sustainable meaning they are profitable and they pay you well, and they pay the staff well, because I come from the business world, and we do business in 40 countries in Africa. We do business worldwide. In the businesses where we succeed is because we pay the employees very well. If you don't pay them well, they work for other companies. So we need to look after them and pay them well. So let's go back to what brought me here, which is to make a humble contribution to the excellent work that my brother Kurt is doing and the rest of the leadership. I want to say something that's very important. Ghana is one of those few African countries that have proven to the people of Ghana, that have proven to the people of Africa over and over again every year, that you've got special God-given football talent. You've produced some of the best football players, not just in Ghana, and not just in Africa, but in the world. So part of why I'm here, as part of the overall commitment to football development, and I also want to thank President Akufo-Addo for the wonderful meeting we had last night. And my brother said I must thank the President for the support that the President of the Republic is giving to Kurt and to football in this country. And I am most grateful. And it's wonderful because even when we spoke to the minister this morning, we said, thank you so much, but we need more. We need more money, we need more resources. We are grateful, and your commitment to help and make sure that schools football grows in Ghana, football amongst our youth grows, our football clubs in Ghana grows, the leadership of the national team and the federation grows and succeeds, and football amongst our girls and amongst women. The Ghana women are amongst the best in the continent and the best in the world. We have to recognize, you were asking about TV rights, we have to recognize that in this globally competitive world we live, financial resources, funding, infrastructure development is critically important, because Ghana competes against countries where their national teams get so much more support from the private sector, millions and millions of dollars more. They get so much support from their governments. So I'm very confident, and I'm grateful for the support of our head of state, our minister, and the good work that is being done by the football leadership. As far as the TV rights are concerned, as you are aware, when I became president of CAF, there's an ongoing legal fight in court between CAF and issues relating to the TV rights. But I'm clear in my mind, I've got no doubt in my mind, that part of the objectives is indeed, football is the game of our people. And football has to be accessible to everybody, the poor and those who are not poor. And part of our focus is to make sure that going forward, there is arrangements that will, as far as TV rights are concerned, make sure that it's good for the sports, it's good for development, that every African in Ghana and every African everywhere in the continent has access to watching their favorite football clubs and their favorite nation. So we will make announcements. We are involved in discussions. There's a legal case. Some of the agreements that were signed, are long-term agreements that we've inherited, and we are engaged in discussions. But the objective is very clear, and I'm confident that in the medium to long term, we will make progress.
Okay, thank you. One from here. Let me come here.
Okay.
Because of the mask, I am unable to identify some of you, but please go
ahead. My name is Yawan Motsepe, please. The last time I interviewed you during the CAF meeting, we were talking about the Super League. You said you wanted to create an all-inclusive Super League that will include everyone. I want to ask, where does it place the Ghana Premier League teams, and then where do you place Ghana in your agendas? That's my first question. The second question is, corruption has been a major issue for CAF, your governing body. Since you took over, what have you done to curb such a menace?
Well, good question. I'm going to go a bit faster now because I had to pay respect to my host and everybody. We initiated a report, a study by PricewaterhouseCoopers to do a thorough assessment of the agreements, the contracts, because governance, ethics, legality, auditing, those are non-negotiable commitments of the new leadership. And we've made good progress. The PricewaterhouseCoopers report found that there's been a lot of irregular agreements, irregular contracts, and we're dealing with those issues. I'm confident that, as I said, over time, because we've got these legal cases that has to follow the legal process, but and of course we've got these agreements that have limitations on us and that we are dealing with. But I'm confident, as I said, over time, African football will be in a much better position. There's a lot of optimism, there's a lot of enthusiasm, there's also a lot of support, because people recognize that we are here to give back to the people of Africa who've made me and made all of us what we are. The second issue is the Super League. I can assure you the Super League has to benefit everybody, and meaning even those nations that may not have clubs that are participating in the Super League. And understand what is behind the Super League. What is behind the Super League is not just a fundamental improvement and to showcase the best in Africa, but it's also a fundamental recognition of the potential of the Super League to generate funding and finance, and to ensure that that funding and finance that we get from the Super League does not only accrue to those clubs that are part of that, but also finds its way into every single one of the 54 member associations, or every one of the 54 nations that are part of CAF. The agreements, the competitions that are currently underway, I mean, they were concluded many years ago. And as I said, some of those agreements, I've got no doubt in my mind, none whatsoever, that the money that CAF should be getting, the money that the member associations should be getting, should be significantly more. So I'm engaging with the current sponsors, wonderful sponsors, and potentially new sponsors. But the process of this Super League is, there's a group that is assessing and evaluating it, and we are busy with the process of extensive consultation and discussions, and we want to make sure that everybody welcomes, sees what it means, benefits from it, and also understands its important role in football. Let me just say one other thing. Side by side with the Super League is to have the World Cup every 2 years. Having the World Cup every 2 years, and there are discussions underway, and we are allowing that study to proceed. But we must understand that African football will never be able to compete against the best in the world if it isn't put in a significantly better financial position, if it isn't put in a significantly better funding position. So all of those, and we want Europe to do well. We want South America to do well. We want the rest of the world to do well. But we also recognize that there has to be fundamental changes. There has to be fundamental changes in the way that football throughout the world is conducted, to ensure that there's fairness, there's equity, and to ensure that African football is given a chance, a fair chance. We don't want favors from anybody. We don't want aid from anybody. We just want to be treated fairly and equally and justly. And we believe that with the cooperation of all of my brothers who are presidents of the confederations of football in Africa, and under the excellent leadership that Gianni Infantino is providing, we think African football will succeed and will do well.
Thank you. Aisha.
Hi, my name is Aisha Zakariali. My first question has to do with women's football. Now, you came into office where there was a rule on the zonal qualification for the Women's Cup of Nations. A lot of people have issues with that because we are looking at having quality compared to quantity. Now, you can have an outcome with Tanzania, with Rwanda, with the other countries participating, but you don't have Nigeria, you don't have Ghana. We want to make it women's football. A competition without Ghana or Nigeria, you are looking at the kind of publicity, the kind of promotion that you will get. Is this something that you are looking at trying to maybe change? The other question has to do with the honorable president of CAF, Mr. Hayatu. He was banned by CAF, FIFA. A lot of people were waiting to hear from you about the ban, but then you seem to be silent on that. And there have been rumors about the fact that Cameroon are not willing to engage you because, I mean, you are hosting the AFCON in their country, their main man has been banned, you seem not to be concerned. Anything you want to share with us on that?
Well, wonderful questions. Maybe I should even say beautiful questions. Point number one, I'm an African. In African culture, and maybe I should even take a step back and say that as president of CAF and as vice president of FIFA, I have to respect the decisions and the conclusions that are arrived at by any body, any organization of FIFA. So I have to respect it. The second thing I need to say, which is very important, I'm an African. In African culture, we look at the future. We look at the good. We look at those issues where, and we also recognize that mistakes and errors are being made by all of us. And so my starting point is, I've always had the highest regard for my elders, for my seniors, and will always continue to have the highest regard for my elders and my seniors, and I focus more on their good, on their contributions. Because my African culture says that, I have to look at the good that everybody has done over many years in football. The third thing is I had a wonderful meeting in Cameroon because we're trying to help them. We are working with them to make the AFCON Cup a huge success. And we've got to stop this culture that you've got a leadership of CAF and you've got member associations who must comply with the rules of CAF. I mean, all of us must comply with the rules of CAF. But what we have to change is we have a duty as the leadership of CAF to help Cameroon, to help every single one of our member associations comply. And we ask them, these are the requirements, and together we work to ensure that we reach those requirements. When I was a young boy driving a car, you would find the police would put a speed trap and you are running to a party and they catch you. CAF is not a police that puts a speed trap. CAF is an uncle and a father who must go and embrace every single one of the member associations and to start off by saying, what are the challenges that you have? How do we work together to make sure that you do well, you comply with our rules, and you grow, and in the context of Cameroon, to ensure that the AFCON Cup, which is taking place in January, will be a success and make all of us proud. I had a very good meeting. In fact, the General Secretary of CAF, as I speak, is in Cameroon. I've asked him and the Vice President to go and visit Cameroon. I was there a month ago, and they reported to me the good work that they're doing. There's some work that still has to be done, and I was given the assurance, and I'm committed. I'm committed to a successful AFCON Cup in Cameroon that will make the people of Cameroon proud and that will make Africa proud.
Mr. President, please, one on zonal
So my apologies. You spoke about
the zonal qualification.
Now let me tell you what my problem is, and I will talk not as president of CAF, even though I'm wearing the hat of president of CAF. Let me talk as an African. If you put Nigeria, you put Ghana, you put Senegal, you put Cameroon in the same group, and you want one of them to win, you are denying me 3 countries that could win in the world. So I don't want Ghana. I'm president of CAF, so I love all of the nations. But I can also say, I don't want Ghana to play South Africa. Because when Ghana plays South Africa, we are all saying, God, please, can you please ask Ghana to go to another group? Because they always make our life, because Ghana is a special, special country with special players. So what I'm saying is that we can't interfere with the qualifications. But I can tell you, I made a remark this morning, Ghana can win the World Cup, and there are other countries in Africa that can compete, and we want them also to challenge and win the World Cup. So if you put Ghana and Nigeria and Cameroon and Ivory Coast and Senegal and say compete, you are taking 4 of my... Let me tell you one thing, I'd like to see Germany, I want France, I want Italy, I want England in one group, and I want one of them to go and the others must fail. So the same applies to the women's football. I must say, I am so proud. Somebody was saying to me, look out, the women of Africa may win the World Cup quicker than the men of Africa. Now I want both of them. I want both the men and the women to win the World Cup. So the issues of the regional qualifications follows the process, and to make sure that they are ethical. But as I said, I've been given the suggestion to say we have to look carefully in terms of the rules and in terms of ethics, so that we don't diminish the number of top African nations to go and compete in the world. Next question.
Thank you. Okay, let me stay there. Okay, Benedict.
My name is Benedict Asasuridu. I've got two quick questions. The first one has got to do with your relationship with your friend, Gianni Infantino. I mean, in fact, there's a view, or there are views that he's the one running CAF, not you. I'm sure you've heard this. What do you say to it? And also, yesterday your friend talked about the fact that biannual World Cup will immensely benefit the continent. What's your view on the proposed idea of a World Cup every 2 years? Thank you.
Well, you know what, I'm telling you, any leader in the world who does what Africa tells them or tells him, I love them. So the president, let me say this to you. We've got many businesses. We do investments worldwide. So I can say with all humility, I don't need financial support from anybody. So get that out of the way at all. We've got family philanthropies. We've donated $10 million American dollars for schools football in Africa. We've donated more than $500 million US dollars from the Motsepe family, according to Forbes, to philanthropy. So let's just get the money part out of the way. I'm here because of the philanthropic feelings, the duty I have to the people of this continent. Let me add something else. There are 300 million young people in Africa. 300 million between the age of 15 and 25 or 14 and 25. And if we don't give a future to those 300 million people, the future of this continent, from a social economic perspective, will be severely threatened. The number is going to become 400 million by 2030. Football is the most passionate sport that all of us love, but football is also an instrument to say to our young people, go and get educated, get technological skills and expertise. Make sure that you don't get involved in corruption or crime. Make sure that you live according to whatever dreams you have and aspirations, and believe that if you work hard, you will succeed. So we use football as one of those tools to get messages, because the young people say, you don't talk like we do, you don't even have style like we do, you don't dance where we are. So in football we know that we are with them, and in music, like what our beautiful Ghana football supporters are doing, we know we are together. So I just want to say that I can assure you that Gianni is a good friend of mine, good friend, and of course there are issues where we may not have the same views, which is normal. Many of my best friends, we've got different views. Sometimes I'm right, they are wrong. Sometimes I'm wrong and they are right. But I've got no doubt, African football needs a FIFA president. African football needs FIFA leadership that will work together, partner with Africa to implement and advance the interests of world football, but also to implement and advance the interests of African football. So that is a fundamental, and the same applies. I will work with European football, I will work with the president of Europe, I will work with the president of South America, I will work with every single president to advance and promote football throughout the world, and also to advance and promote my primary obligation, which is to contribute to the development and growth of African football. Next question. Now understand. I will tell you as president of CAF, and there's going to be lots of discussions and there are disagreements. I saw in the media that there was a suggestion that if the majority votes for the World Cup to take place every 2 years, Europe will boycott the World Cup. Now, I was told that that is in the media, and so I don't want to comment on that. But what I know clearly in my mind, one of the biggest beneficiaries of a World Cup every 2 years is football in the developing world. And Africa will benefit immensely. And I'll go further and say, in my view, the World Cup every 2 years will also benefit Europe. The World Cup every 2 years will also benefit the other continents. And what we want is we want European football to grow and to succeed. We want football all over the world to grow and to succeed. My job, my number one job, is to make sure that African football grows and succeeds.
Okay, let me come to, yes, the gentleman.
Mr. President.
Yeah, I know that there are two presidents here. On my left is a big president, and then there's the other president. So, oh, okay. We'll answer all questions, and I know that my brother here is also waiting to ask whatever question. But we are both here, so ask whatever questions you want, and we'll try and answer them as best we can. Thanks, my brother.
My name is Berio Champon. I work with Patrice Motsepe in Accra. Before you were elected to be the president, you stated that you don't want to come into football because you can't combine your job with a football. Now you are the president of Africa. How do you combine these two? Secondly, we know that the work of African continent, we are limited with the sport. What are you doing?
So you say we are limited with the sport?
Yes,
World Cup.
The World Cup.
Teams. I mean the number of teams who compete.
Oh, the number of teams are small.
Yes.
In comparison with other continents, yeah.
They are limited. What are you doing to improve that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, let me tell you, the first thing is, you know, I am privileged. The companies I started, the one company that I started employs 30,000 people. The other one that I merged with another company employs 50,000 people. And we are shareholders in companies where, you know, we've got world-class management teams. And one of the things is what I said to you, that we are privileged to have, you know, colleagues, people that I work with, some of whom are smarter and brighter than I am. So I've really, what I do know is whenever you start a new business, whenever you start a new responsibility, the first 9 months, the first 6 months, you have to spend a lot of time to try and make sure that there's a fundamental change and a fundamental improvement. And I'm talking here about CAF and African football. So I've visited about 20 countries over the last few months, and I've had several meetings both here and overseas. And the main objective is I want to make sure that when my time comes to an end as president of CAF, the member associations and all of us can, because the test is not mine, the test is the leadership, so that all of us can agree that we found African football to be at a certain level, and when all of us working together, we have significantly improved it for the better. So I'm confident that the work that's been done, there's good progress, but there's still a lot of work still to be done. And over the next few months and over the next few years, we will make good progress. What was the second question?
Slots for the World Cup.
Yeah, well,
compared to Europe.
Absolutely. And these are some of the issues. The world has to change. You've got 1.3 billion people in Africa. Some of the rules in football are rules which were made many, many years ago. And we have a duty, and I have a duty, to engage with the leadership of football throughout the world to make sure that the number of African clubs, African nations in the World Cup increases significantly. And that's why as well, the World Cup every 2 years will allow many other countries, give them an opportunity to host the World Cup. I was saying to my brother, Kurt, and we were also saying to the president, I would like to see Ghana put a proposal to host the African Nations Cup. And there are issues so that we can come back to Ghana as we were in 2008. You've got wonderful infrastructure here. So, so there are ongoing discussions there to make sure that Ghana puts up a proposal to host the African Nations Cup. Let me say something else. Why can Ghana not with other countries host the World Cup? Why not? We can do that. Because with the World Cup comes investment, with the World Cup comes jobs, with the World Cup comes tourism. Nobody who comes to Ghana once will not come back 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. This is the most beautiful country with the most beautiful people.
Victor. My name is Victor. I work for Citi Radio. Why is CAF even contemplating a Super League when it will be easier to strengthen, say, the CAF Champions League? Because as it stands, there are many who believe, and for good reason, that economically it's not a very viable competition. So if you have resources that you could push into a new competition, why not invest that into the CAF Champions League and strengthen it? The second question for me has to be the association or the presence of certain service providers, if I'm allowed to call them, like, for example, Fatima Samura. What is her relationship with CAF with? Because there are many who have questioned what the exact situation is. Because in the past, we're not used to seeing other FIFA General Secretaries being this presence, if not influential, at CAF. Thank you.
Let me tell you two things. I have been going to the World Economic Forum with many heads of state, many presidents of Africa over the last 20 years, 25 years. We have been fighting for Africa, because Africa is all that we have. And what is important is all of us, we've got a time period. We are not there for long. Whilst we are there, we have to make a tangible improvement. So I can assure you, whilst, and in fact I was laughing because my brother was asking a question of Gianni Infantino. I've had about 4 African heads of state who know me for many years, many years. They said, the Patrice we know, nobody will control Patrice except the people of Africa. And that is one of the reasons why those heads of state were some of those who said to me, please stand up, because we are Mandela's children. We are nobody's children except the people of Africa. And the test is not what we say, is the results. I want to make sure that by the time, as I said, I step down as president of CAF, whoever takes over from me, there are rules, there are processes, there's a culture, there's a history that has been put in place that cannot be changed for many years to come. And those changes are entrenched exclusively for the benefit of football in Africa. And his first question was about
why don't we strengthen the Champions League rather than considering the Super Cup?
A very good question. Very good question. Many African clubs lose money. I mean, the club that I own, I've had to step aside and let my son run it. He's got other things. They were the champions of Africa. They won the Champions League in 2016, Mamelodi Sundowns. And and I know because the family pays. The clubs that participate in the Champions League, they lose money. Even when you get the prize, and it's worse for us because we have to give the players, when I was still president of Mamelodi Sundowns, we give them the prize money. So if you win, all of the money goes to you. So there is a process in place to strengthen the Champions League and to try and that's why we need the money. We need the resources. This is a new world we live in. And we need to engage also with the sponsors in a manner that makes them think that they benefit from the association and partnering with CAF. So the Super League for Africa is a new competition because all of those other competitions, they are locked into agreements. And the money that they get, as you correctly said, it's not enough. So I can't change those, if I'm supposed to get a certain amount of money because agreements were done 5-7 years ago, we are stuck with them. But now comes a new one. Somebody was asking about TV rights. In the new competition, we now start negotiating from scratch. And as I said, in Africa, you can't have rich clubs and poor clubs. This is Africa. You can't have rich nations and poor nations. We have to work together, in football anyway, for the benefit of everybody.
Okay. Please, those who are at the back, I invite you to take your seat. I don't want to see you there. I want you to sit down. Joyce.
My name is Joyce Amankwa from Top FM. I want to ask about officiating.
You mean the referees?
Yes, the referees.
The female referees?
No, the men. The Champions League. The Champions League. Because the officiating is so bad. Especially last Sunday, when I spoke play in Morocco. If you watch the match, you can judge. So please, do something about officiating.
Very, very, very good question. Very good question. And this is one of the things that is getting emergency, because I'm talking about getting funding and finance for African football. I can't talk about getting funding and finance for African football when the quality of refereeing is not world class. So I can assure you it's receiving urgent attention. And and that's why this VAR is critically important. Very good question. Yeah,
you've had your turn.
Yeah, listen. Let's take 2-3 more questions and.
Just a second.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, please. Just to allay our fears, Ghana will be playing South Africa in the final of the qualifiers for the World Cup. I mean, many feel you are the CAF president, and of course, I should talk about officiating. Just allay our fears that officiating will be fair on the day.
Let me explain something to you. Before I was president of CAF, I have businesses worldwide, and they judge you by your integrity and your ethics. And your integrity and your ethics is not what you say, it's what you do. So I can assure you that, and in fact, I don't get involved in those things, and I should not get involved in those things. I have to make sure, all of us must make sure that we've got people of integrity, people who are ethical, and remember, it doesn't matter who Ghana plays. I've already said to you, in my view, Ghana is one of those nations we want to see to compete at the highest level in the world. Because Ghana is one of those few African nations that can make the people of Ghana proud and the people of Africa proud.
Okay, Gary.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Dr. Motsepe, welcome to Ghana.
You should say welcome home.
Welcome home.
Gary,
so
Gary, you didn't welcome me to Ghana.
Welcome home, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Anyway, Dr. Motsepe, you basically made your stance clear, reiterated your stance on the two things, the Super League and the Biennial World Cup. However, I'd like to know, since the idea of the Super League was mooted in Europe, nobody, especially in Africa, has given a concrete plan about how it will work. You have always never said what in your plan, not what the Price Waterhouse or anything, what in your mind, as president of CAF, as the businessman who knows the numbers, what do you think will be the numbers for the African football class? Because in Europe, when the idea was mooted, we knew in millions, hundreds of millions, what each club was going to get. What in your mind, if you could tell us directly, is your plan? How many teams do you want in it? How much money do you want them to add? How much do you want them to get?
Very, very good question. Let me give you an example before you come, and then I'll give you question number 2. I stand, I sometimes have to address 20,000 workers. 20,000 workers. Not just workers, mine workers.
Sure.
And mine workers, you must be careful what you say, because they get very, very, if you want to say, I love you, and you take too long before you say, I love you, they assume that you don't know where you stand. So the point I'm making is that one of the things is, there is in order for the end product to be accepted by everybody, there has to be a consultation and involvement. And what I said about the Super League is, we are learning from some of the things that they did in Europe, which was not correct. And that is, you should get every nation that is, even those that may not have a club, they've got to be part of the discussions, they've got to give their input, they've got to understand why we want the Super League, they should give us their comments. I'm clear in my mind, very, very clear. African football needs resources. It needs financial resources, it needs infrastructure. One of the most important tools we have is new competitions. So I just want to say to you that we will there's discussions underway, there's consultation, and at the right time, when we have heard everybody's input and everybody's advice, including the potential sponsors, the TVs, and those countries that may not be involved, we will make an appropriate announcement. So it's a short to medium term strategy we have there.
Right, and then the follow-up was that currently, as you know, even the best African football players in the world are doing well, but they are complaining about the congested fixture schedule. And even as of now, they are literally begging, their bodies are begging for some rest. I was saying a couple of weeks ago that if you take our top 5 players like Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, Riyad Mahrez and others, they've not had a proper rest in 4 years.
A new structure.
And if things go the way they are, for another 3 years, they will not rest. So my simple question is this. If you support a biennial World Cup when we already have a 2-year Africa Cup of Nations, where, as CAF president, do you want us to place it in the calendar?
You are asking not just good questions, you're asking brilliant questions. And if you've got a radio station, I want to listen to it. If you've got it,
it's called Joy FM.
Is that so? I'm going to listen to it all over the continent. Now let me tell you a very brilliant question. Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger is advising us on this process of the World Cup every 2 years. And part of that process involves a review of the football calendars and to ensure that the players actually play less football and not more. They play less football. So there's discussions taking place, and Arsene Wenger has made a lot of presentations to us, and there's a study that's being conducted by FIFA, And I can assure you, because we have a duty to come and talk to the presidents of the member associations of CAF, and the president of Ghana is not just president of Ghana. They've shown confidence in his exceptional leadership. He's president of the regional football, WAFU. It's WAFU B. Yeah. He's the president of WAFU B because all of the countries neighboring have shown confidence in him. Said, but he's a special leader. We've got confidence in him, and that's why I also want him in CAF, because I want the best in CAF. So we will. I mean, those questions you're asking, absolutely legitimate, and we'll come back, because we have to. We've got to report, we've got to account, and we've got to show you why the World Cup every 2 years is highly beneficial for the players, for football in the world, and of course, as I said, for us in Africa, it's highly beneficial to us as well.
Okay, 2 more questions. I'll move the microphone from here to this place, and then we'll wrap up. Benghazi.
Did you say his name is Benghazi?
Yes. Benghazi from Ghana, not from Libya.
Benghazi is Eniki anyway. My name is Benjamin.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Benghazi is Eniki.
My driver's name is Beirut. So one day they said, "Why have you got a driver called Beirut?" But that's his nickname.
Welcome again, Mr. President. Now the question is this: from your background, now with football with CAF, what do you see as the biggest problem with African football, and how are you tackling that or solving that for Africa? And number 2, after all is said and done with your tenure as president of CAF, what is the biggest legacy you want to leave behind for CAF?
Benghazi is asking good questions, and that question can only come from Accra.
Accra's Benghazi.
Well, Accra is special. Let me start with the second question, which was the legacy. The first question was...
First question was
the biggest problem.
The biggest problem of African football.
Yeah. Let me tell you something that's very important. We have to get particularly our young people in Africa. It is so important. Our young people in Africa, and this is based on our experiences worldwide, the things we see, the people we interact with, because our duty is to Africa, We've got nothing else. It's to our people in the continent. Of course, we've got a duty to the rest of the world as well. But we've got to encourage our young people to say, the people of Ghana, the people of Senegal, the people of Nigeria, the people of Africa, we have to work together. We will succeed on our own, but there are certain things in the world we cannot do on our own. And we don't want people to talk to Ghana and Ghana is on its own, or to talk to Senegal and Senegal is on its own. We want the people to talk to the whole of the continent, because when we are together, we have so much of a bargaining, negotiating power in football, in business, in everything. So as far as football is concerned, I can assure you that with Kurt and the leadership we have in this country, and the test of, I was listening this morning to what Kurt was saying. If you look at what has happened in football, there was a normalization committee in this country. The people in the private sector did not want to support Ghana football. How can the private sector not support football in Ghana when some of these companies are from outside Ghana, make a lot of money in Ghana? So if you make a lot of money in Ghana, it's good for your business to give back, to support football, and to show the people of the country that I am also committed to the things that you love and that you're passionate about. So in terms of the legacy, and I don't want to call it my legacy because a leader never creates a legacy on his own. A leader creates a legacy based on the privilege and the honor he has with working with exceptional people. And the test there is to see in what condition is African football when I'm gone. And that's why you don't prepare for African football when there's a new leader. You prepare for it whilst you are there, and make sure that because you must understand, when I'm an old man already. You look at football, you want to look at it with pride, and say that my brother Kurt, my brother the vice president, the leadership, all of us together made a humble contribution to make football in Ghana better, because when football in Ghana is better, I was saying, if Kurt is weak, if Kurt is a weak leader in Ghana, I am weak. As the president of CAF, I'm weak. If the leadership of CAF, of football in Ghana is weak, football in Africa is weak. So we've got a big stake and a big interest in making sure that Kurt succeeds, the leadership of football in Ghana succeeds, because when you succeed, I succeed, CAF succeeds, African football succeeds.
Mubarak.
Last one.
Yes.
Yeah, Doctor, please, in one of your meetings in Rwanda, you said corporate bodies are reluctant to partner CAF. What was the state of CAF then, and what has changed now? The second question is, you made mention that there will be an increment in the prize money for the Africa Cup of Nations. How far with that? Thank you.
Very good, because I tell you, and I wish we can get that for the World Cup as well, because part of the problem is, and I don't want to talk about any country, the football team, the nation does well, they come to this, they qualify from the quarterfinals, and then there's problems, because money was promised which is not available, or there's more money that is required, and the leadership says, you know, we've already promised money we don't have, where are we going to get more money? So one of the things we're looking at is to say that no matter what happens, there's a certain price that's going to go to the players and the coaching staff that wins. Now that I want to keep that separate from the other prize money. We need to, and there are discussions taking place, because we want to make sure that the players go there knowing already from day one. You know, if you tell Messi or Ronaldo, I'm going to give you another $1 million, it means nothing. If you say to a football player playing for Asante Kotoko or playing for Hearts of Oak or Dreams, and tell him, you know, I've got another. I must be careful what I say here. You know? I've got another $50,000 or $80,000 for you if you qualify. I mean, it's so there's no discussions. I know, even before I became president of CAF, I know of nations from Africa where the players wanted to leave. They wanted to leave at the World Cup. They wanted to leave at the African Nations Cup. I know, because I've been owning a football club for 20 years. And the club that I own, won the league in South Africa for the last 4 years. They've been champions there. So we know players, and you must be careful, because players, you know, I can work for the next, I don't know, assume I'm 40 years old or 30 years old, I've got a job for the next 30, 40 years. A football player, you've got a short future. You can only work for those number of years whilst you play. So what I always have told football players that come to play in the club that the family owns from day one, listen to me. If you can get more money in another club, go. But what we are going to do is we're going to make sure that whilst you're with us, We pay you more money than you can get anywhere else. And please take that money. I know some of you like a BMW, a Mercedes-Benz and whatever, it's fine. But take some of that money, save it. Because you are not going to play football for the rest of your life. So going back to this issue, the question you're asking about...
prize money for AFCON?
Yeah, I've said the prize money. There was another one before.
And
you said in Rwanda are reluctant to partner CAF.
You mean the sponsors?
Yeah.
Yes, they were reluctant. They were reluctant because it's unbelievable. People who came to work in CAF would sign sponsorship agreements for CAF with companies that they are associated with. And those people who are in those companies leave those companies to come to CAF. So money used to go, money that was meant to develop football in Africa, that was meant for CAF, went in the pockets of agents, third parties, advisors. So the corporate world gets to know about these things. And of course, some of them went to court. There's a legal case now between a big legal case between CAF and Lagadière. And we are trying to resolve those issues. So, and the other thing as well is you need to make sure that there's, you audit your books every year and give it publicly. You need to make sure that there's governance. You need to make sure that there's ethics. You need to make sure that there are fair rules and procedures, because once you've got those things, the private sector says, and that's why I'm saying, soon after I was elected, many people in the private sector came and said, we are so happy, we want to support, but going back to your question, all the competitions have already got sponsors. I have to sell. What do I sell? I sell competitions. I sell world-class football. I sell football that people all over the world want to watch. Why do you watch European football? Why do you watch Messi? Why do you watch Ronaldo? Because they are special players. I want you to watch a Michael Essien as a young boy. Give him a chance. Watch him in Ghana. Watch him in Africa. But don't say to him, you are going to get very small money in Africa. So part of the process is we want African football to compete as far as salaries and wages are concerned with the best in the world. So young boys who can go and play in Sweden, in Belgium, in other parts of Europe, if they can get that money here in Ghana, you know what happens? They stay in Ghana. It's very cold there. It's cold. The weather there is very cold. They'd much rather stay here, and it's good for football, and it's good. So we want to build all of these things. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, colleagues. That will be
my brother Kurt. I say with humility, can they all stand up? Let's clap hands for them for the wonderful work they do. Thank you so much. And also thank you so much for the media. We are so grateful, and thank you for those questions that you asked, because we have a duty to communicate to our people through yourselves, and you must ask all of these questions. Thank you so much. God bless you.